sports and TV show streams going live on YouTube, streaming live on YouTube. I'm on my couch, so if this is going live, it's real dark, and I'm gonna put my iPad in the stand. Yeah, it's on front camera. Now I'm going to go in my bedroom to see if this is really going live. Before I start launching music. Okay, I think I'm going live. I think I start. Okay. Now. Okay, I am going live. I see my face. Well, I didn't want to start the Rescue 911 episodes if I wasn't going live. See, I started checking my streams to see if they're going live, because sometimes you click on create event and it messes up and everything. So that's what made me start to check it first. Let's see. Commando TV. Go to catch up. Get TV. I wonder if the fourth episode of Rescue 911 is Conrail Train.
She was a friend.
It was very rewarding to have Johnny come into this world through 911 with me on the line. It made me want to have a baby, but I've collected my wit.
Good boy. He really is a good boy.
Today on Rescue 911, a mentally distraught husband goes out of control in his own home.
I knew it was a bad call right away.
With 2 shot and 4 terrified, officers attempt to bring a family's nightmare to an end.
I thought they were just gonna shoot us all.
Then,
I just had this horrible gut feeling that something was definitely wrong with the boys.
a moment's inattention turns tragic for a small child on Rescue 911.
Francine Nicholas had been married for 11 years. She lived with her husband and their 6 children in a small town in Ontario, Canada. From the outside, their home looked like a happy one. But Francine and her children lived behind a wall of disturbing secrets.
If something wasn't going his way, he'd like flip out and just get angry over nothing.
So,
I would see him hit my mom and hit my brothers, so all of us were afraid.
On the morning of May 28, 1991, Francine sought help at a shelter for battered women.
Francine was planning on leaving her husband.
I cannot handle this anymore.
As she told me her story, I realized that this man would go to extreme lengths to keep her in line and keep her at home.
I would really strongly urge you to stay.
I didn't want her to leave that room.
I cannot do that. I mean, I have 5 children.
After she had left, I was really upset. I felt she was in a lot of danger.
Francine. Francine.
Kiss your dog.
When we continue,
Where's the gun now? Do you still have it in his hand?
If we're going to a gun call, we have to be sure that when the officers arrive, they are in a safe situation. Sometimes the person just won't give up the gun.
Get ready to hit the trail all day Saturday and Sunday.
We will ride to hell and back. That is what it takes.
From sunup to sundown. Head west with the Trailblazers.
What does it take to survive?
Gunslingers.
I believe this belongs to you.
And rugged individuals.
Than I did.
But you look great.
You look great.
You
Look
look
at your
better.
spinner.
And even prizes. Bonus number 3, wellness coaches. Available 7 days a week without an appointment. There for you. Bonus number 4, probiotic belly busting shakes, free.
Don't wait. Be one of the first 300 callers to order, or go immediately to the URL on your screen to grab your bonus offers.
Hold everything.
We're having a BOGO sale.
For limited time, buy 1 month, get 1 free. That's 2 months of weight loss for the price of 1. All these bonus offers have a combined value of over $300, but are yours when you act now. Don't wait. The phone lines are open and the reps are standing by. Call right now.
What are you waiting for? You could have a whole new life ahead of you. Just call now or order online. Either way, don't wait. I know you can do this. Try the new personal plans from Nutrisystem. Change your life today.
Go to Nutrisystem.com/Marine or call 877-971-FIT8 right now to buy 1 month, get 1 free. Plus get 4 bonus offers.
Join the bunkers for some family time. All in the Family, weeknights at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Durham Regional Police Dispatcher Paul Murray took the call.
I couldn't make out what was going on, but I immediately motioned to my supervisor to plug in because I knew it was a bad call right away. It was such a long time I was screaming. It just sent shivers up and down my spine. I knew somebody was bleeding, so that activated the ambulance right away.
Among the rescuers who responded was EMT John Henry.
We received the call around 5 o'clock in the morning to go to a residence, unknown patients, unknown condition. We were apprised by our dispatch to approach with caution.
mother came on, and I could barely hear her at the start, and then she said that her husband was killing her.
We got a shooting, 928, father shot mother.
Calling 18 crime unit, standby at 940 going on, lots of screaming in the background.
Where are the guns now? Where's the party at?
We couldn't reach out and touch or help them. All we could do is listen, so that's what makes it tough. You know that you want to be out there and help, but you can't.
You stay on the line with me. Yeah, I know. Where's the gun? You stay at the
I always thought that he hated us, and I thought he was just gonna shoot us all.
What kind of shape is your mother in? Okay, did she get shot? Where'd she get shot at?
My dad's saying, your mom's gonna die. Just look at her. She's gonna fall down and die.
Okay, what's your dad doing? Does he still have the gun?
The worst part was when I saw my mom sitting on the chair, bleeding to death, and my dad didn't do anything about it. I was crying, and it was scary.
What's he doing with the gun? Tell him to put the gun down. No. What are you doing with the gun?
If we're going to a gun call, we have to be sure that when the officers arrive, they are in a safe situation. It's not always possible to do that. Sometimes the person just won't give up the gun.
Where's the gun now? He still has it in his hand? Does he know that the police are coming? Yeah. Okay. He's going to have to put the gun down someplace where the police can see it. And he'll have to have his hands in the air when the police arrive. Hello? Hello? Yeah? What's your father doing now? Nothing. Does your father speak English? What's your name, son? Okay, yeah. Where's your dad? He's in another room, but I have the gun. Do you have it? Yeah. Okay. The son has his possession.
Apparently the son has possession of the weapon now.
Knowing the man's son now had the gun, units closed in, led by Constable John Alexander.
There is always the chance that the father was able to overpower the son and had the gun back in his possession. Or he had left the house and was maybe lurking in the bushes waiting for us to arrive.
The door? Yeah. Okay. Tell the officer that the son has the gun. The son is not the culprit, no. The father was the culprit.
Told us, Dan, apparently the father is the suspect here, but the son has the gun. We have him on the line.
Well, just relax for a second here until the officers settle, okay? Okay. You keep him away from the gun, okay?
In a domestic violence situation, you really wonder how this situation came to be, how long it has been going on. You never really are prepared for what you're actually going to see when you arrive at the scene.
The police are inside the house. They're in the house right now. Oh, okay. All right, that's good. Okay. That's good, son.
We've been briefed on the types of calls that we would receive, but there's nothing to compare with this call.
Put your hands up behind your head. Put them up there. Get down on your knees.
At this point, my main concern was the removal of the accused from the scene.
Once the scene was secured, EMTs, including John Hendry, were finally allowed in to treat the victims.
Unfortunately, domestic violence is fairly common, and we find that we go to the same residence over and over again. We have had 2 incidences in the last year and a half of females being beaten to death.
What do you got? Straight there. Just shot.
A quick examination showed she had suffered multiple gunshot wounds, and she was obviously in shock.
Where you hurt the most?
It was amazing that she was still conscious.
How are you doing? Where do you hurt? Your hand.
The child had a through-and-through gunshot wound to her hand. I think she was as upset seeing her mother injured as she was with her own injury.
We're going to take your mom to the hospital. Don't be scared, okay? And you're going to go with her. You got to be brave, okay? Come on, up we come.
When the ambulance came, they took Mom away. I thought she wasn't going to make it at first, but my aunt said that she would for us.
Pretty nice. Wire, both of them.
I advised Constable Baker at this time to arrest the accused for attempt murder, as the mother had been shot 3 times. From the back seat, the father spoke up and said, "No, I shot her 5 times." He showed no remorse at all. He was just so calm that it was really unbelievable.
I'm arresting you for attempted murder.
Detective Paul Carroll was the lead investigator in the case.
He subsequently went to trial for a charge of attempt murder on his wife and an aggravated assault on his daughter. He was found guilty and sentenced to 12 years.
Do you understand?
The good part of it, this is I don't have to see my father anymore. Because when I look at him, it makes me scared.
5-year-old Angelique was treated for a gunshot wound to the hand and released the same day. Her mother, Francine, was hospitalized for 3 weeks. A year has passed.
I am a free person. I am no longer afraid of speaking. I don't have to ask permission anymore. I never thought it could be that way. Even Patrick told me one day, he says, "Mom, I never thought life could be so good." It's for the children that I stayed. Now I know today that it was very wrong because my children suffered a lot.
Francine and her 6 children are undergoing counseling.
She's channeling all her anger, that repressed anger over 11 years, into speaking out and giving other women hope that there is a different life out there.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're fortunate this afternoon to have Francine Nicholas speaking to us. Francine is a victim of spouse abuse.
I love to speak out because I do believe that if I made it, they can make it too. Look for the sign of jealousy, of control. The important part is to not become trapped. So when you don't like what your boyfriend does to you, it is your right. When a woman decides to leave, don't tell her, just take the kids and get out. Because I did that. And he tried to kill me.
Recently, Francine fulfilled her dream of owning her own business.
The sewing shop is my last baby. It gives me a sense of accomplishment. It's wonderful. I mean, I'm my own boss. I can't take a day off. That's fine.
Things have changed for the better. Me and Mom are closer now. I don't want her to get hurt again, so stay close to her because I love her.
I'm just glad she's still alive for us, because I feel that she's a great person and a great mother.
Next.
We always have a fear of the tracks. In the back of your mind, you always think, God, I just hope these kids always learn that they never should go there.
Meet Joe.
My usual deal on Monday mornings is to do my grocery shopping, so...
(8236) 800-683-8236.
Catch Amen on Funny Side Up every weekday at 6 a.m. Eastern.
Ramsey, New Jersey, the kind of town where nothing much ever happens. But on Monday, May 1st of this year, something frightening did. Most of the people involved have returned to help us reconstruct the events of that spring morning. Conductor Anthony Falsey was on a short haul from New York to New Jersey with his engineer, Richard Campana.
We had 19 loaded cars, 1 engine. We were eastbound on New Jersey Transit, approaching Ramsey.
Kate Pritchard was just returning home from doing errands in town.
My usual deal on Monday mornings is to do my grocery shopping, so I packed up the kids in the car and went to the grocery store and came home. I guess it was about 11:15 when we came home.
When Kate and her husband Gary were looking for a safe neighborhood in which to raise a family, this place had seemed perfect.
Here we go.
We live in a cul-de-sac with many, many children, and they're always playing out there, knowing that they're not allowed in the woods, knowing that they're not allowed to even go near the train tracks at all.
Kate trusted her older son Todd to look after his younger brother Scott while she took the groceries into the house.
There is such an amazing difference between these two boys. Todd has always been very cautious and more intense. I mean, since he was little, if you told him, don't touch that because you will be hurt if you do, he wouldn't. And then there's Scott. I think if I had had Scott first, I probably wouldn't have had another one until Scott was in college. He's fearless. He's just basically fearless.
And the tracks are temptingly close, less than 300 feet from the Pritchard family home.
We always had a fear of the tracks. In the back of your mind, you always think, God, I just hope these kids always learn that they never should go there.
But on this morning, they did. 1.5-year-old Scott and 3-year-old Todd made their way through the woods to play on the tracks just beyond.
They saw something moving, and it moved like something alive, not like wind blowing something, something like that. Whatever it was, they were going to hit.
When that train whistle I guess the engineer just let his hand down on that whistle and it just kept blowing. I just had this horrible gut feeling that something was definitely wrong with the boys.
The train was slowing down, but it didn't appear to me that it was going to stop in time.
I could not get out there fast enough. I mean, those legs of mine just would not move fast enough. And I got out to the end of the driveway, and the whole time I was running out there, I was screaming for Todd, just screaming out his name.
I lost view from the front of the engine. I can't see directly down in front of me.
The wide snow plow on the front of the train had only 12 inches of clearance. Even with the brakes on, the weight of a 250-ton train carried it more than 100 feet past where the boys were playing on the tracks.
As soon as the train stopped, I jumped off to see what happened and see if Tony was all right. I thought the little boy was killed.
Rich, go back and call the dispatch. We need a police and an ambulance. Okay.
I just remember seeing a snowplow or locomotive hit the smallest child in the head. I just automatically thought he had severe head injuries.
Anthony Bowser was screaming at me to go call an ambulance. I wanted him to go get an ambulance. But at that point, I just knew that someone had to go get help.
At 11:05 a.m., the call for help came in. 15-year veteran Glenn Karpovich was the first officer on the scene.
When I heard the call, I expected the worst. Normally, a person involved with a train to any degree, it's a fatal accident.
I dialed my husband and I said, Scott was hit by a train. And I said, just get home as fast as you can. I did not know the danger of at what state this baby was in. They said, we gotta get you to the hospital. And I said, please just wait a few minutes for my husband, knowing that if he got there and saw us gone, the poor guy would have just fallen apart. I wanted him there with me.
When you're running all these kind of scenarios, what happened? How could this happen? What went wrong? What was he doing there? Where was everybody?
When the paramedics arrived, Scott was taken to the hospital for examination.
He'll be all right. He'll be fine.
After 6 stitches on the forehead and 7 on the chin, Scott was released. Miraculously, neither...
8236 800-683-8236.
Catch Amen on Funny Side Up every weekday at 6 a.m.
A lot of people tend to be so concerned about themselves. And I said, well, if I was killed and the 2 children lived, that's the way I would have wanted it, because I'm 35 years old, I've done a lot in my life, and I still have a lot of my life left, but these children have their entire life left.
That was the rest of the episode, Conrail Train.
He's a really good dog. Proud of my dog. I know. That hospitalized me about it. God forbid anything ever happens again. I wouldn't even think twice to take them there. They were wonderful. Wonderful. There you go. Oh, my dog. Good boy.
Today on Rescue 911, a deadly snake attack leaves one man miles from help with minutes to live.
I was scared out of my wits when Clive went unconscious on me.
And a beginner nurse is his only hope.
The longer the venom's in the system, the more damage it does.
Then,
My wife's in labor and we need an ambulance.
They're coming, they're on the way.
trapped in a snowbound house, one man is faced with delivering his own child on Rescue 911.
A person's strengths may not be visible when life is going smoothly, but it's in times of trouble that character is put to the test. I'm William Shatner. Tonight on Rescue 911, true stories of heroism that show what we are truly capable of achieving. We begin on August 31st, 1991, outside the small town of Mariba in Australia, a country known for its exotic wildlife and untamed beauty.
We've got the top 11 deadly snakes in the world here in Australia, and the most dangerous snake in Australia is definitely the taiping. They get in multiple bites in the same amount of time that it takes a normal snake to strike once.
Brian Eakin was just visiting the area and had gone down to the Barron River to go swimming with his family.
I grew up with all the stories of taipan snakes, and I always remind the kids if they're going down the river, be very careful where they're walking, and you know, don't be running through bushes and that sort of stuff.
An average healthy adult male, given a decent bite from a taipan, 10 minutes to half an hour without first aid, and they're cactus.
Clive Brady lived near the river and was on his way home after enjoying a swim. When we continue.
I could tell that Clive's condition was deteriorating, and I thought I'll try and keep him in consciousness as long as possible. But by that time, I was quite worried.
Wake up every morning to Funny Side Up.
I tell you, Mario, when it comes to jive, JJ is the best alive.
And I tell you, JJ, when it comes to food, you're at the head of the school. When I was born, my body was blessed.
Guaranteed. HGIS, the better way.
And pretty fast, you know.
Brian took off to find a phone to call for help.
Guaranteed. HGIS, the better way.
For your free sample pack with your free catalog, $45 in money-saving coupons, and free product samples, call 1-800-291-1431. That's 1-800-291-1431.
While walking along a riverbank near Mariba, Australia, 63-year-old Clive Brady was bitten by a taipan snake, one of the world's deadliest, whose poisonous venom is capable of killing a man within minutes.
I need help, mate. I've been bitten by a snake. I'm coming over. No, stay where you are, mate. We'll come across to you. Just lay on the ground.
I tell you, that's one of the things with being bitten by a snake, that you to just to lay down and take it easy, stay calm.
Bend the knee there. We've got his taipan.
I went into panic since he said typhoon. He was saying how his vision was going, so I thought things are happening pretty fast, you know.
Brian took off to find a phone to call for help. And the first building he happened upon was a local hospital.
What's the matter?
Took me a while to sort of compose myself and get my breath back to tell him there was a man bitten by a snake down the river.
You all right? Is anybody got me with?
While the head nurse called for an ambulance, nurse trainee Bernie Jo Tonen volunteered to check on the victim.
I thought, it's probably nothing. Bit of an adventure, go down the river. Never even been down there yet. But I just thought, oh, just in case it might be serious, we'll take a few bandages with us.
I was glad that she came with me. That was a great relief to me to know there was professional help there.
I didn't have any experience as a nurse. As a trainee nurse, it's just basic care, making beds, you know, basic hygiene care. No responsibility, really. You sure it was a taipan? I've seen plenty of them before, haven't you?
The snake hurt, bugger.
How's your breathing?
Oh, not too good. All right, we'll go and get this ambulance. I think he was starting to panic, saying, you know, where's the ambulance? And we were trying to reassure him and telling him it was coming, but in the meantime, we were pacing up and down the bank ourselves, hoping to God that this ambulance would turn up.
I should have gone to the races with my wife like she asked me to.
Should always listen to your missus, shouldn't you?
Yeah.
How? And I thought, rules as long as possible. What's your name?
Clive.
Clive who?
Clive Brady.
Clive? Clive? I was scared out of my wits when Clive went unconscious on me. I rolled him onto his side, you know, lifted his head back, you know, and letting him get as much air as possible.
Within 5 minutes of the call, Queensland Ambulance Service attendant Steve Quasm arrived on the scene.
There was a considerable amount of blood running down the patient's leg, and I realised then that the victim had obviously been bitten by a snake several times and possibly had bitten into a vein.
Taipan venom is unique in that it's got a detergent factor in it. Its sole function is to move the venom components around the main circulatory system as quickly as possible. 30 seconds to a minute, and most of the venom's already travelled around your system.
More than 10 minutes had passed since Clive was bitten by the snake.
The longer the venom's in the system, unneutralised, the more damage it does.
With the current, the mud, and the weight that we were carrying, Brian and I both slipped pretty badly, and I said, well, drown the poor bugger before we get him to the other side.
blue.
You start doing the, I gotta get the occupied.
I just stood there in disbelief and went, "You do CPR, you're better at it." But Steve was already off. So I sort of stood there for a few seconds and couldn't remember what to do at first, and then put his head back and started doing my breaths until he vomited in my mouth. I felt for Clive's carotid pulse. I couldn't find it. I'd only done CPR on a mannequin. I had a big fear about doing CPR on a person, not doing it properly, breaking their ribs, not even hitting the heart when you did push down, so doing it on a person was very different. I felt for his carotid pulse, and his heartbeat was back then, but it was quite irregular.
Pulse is clear, right? Bed racing?
I was racing against the clock as far as Clive was running out of time. This was very obvious to me.
My young bloke said to me, he said, "Dad, I think Mr. Brady's hat's on the other side of the river." And I said to my son, I said, "Where Mr. Brady's going, I don't think he'll need a hat anymore."
Clive was driven a short distance to Marimba District Hospital, where he was examined by emergency physician Cheryl Harnischbecker.
What's the story here, Steve?
He was vomiting profusely. He had a low blood pressure, complained of being dizzy and having abdominal pain. It was obvious that we needed to give him antivenin immediately and that we didn't have the luxury of waiting for the snake venom kit to give us an accurate idea of which snake it was. We proceeded to give him polyvalent antivenin, which covers all poisonous snakes in Australia.
I knew by then that Clive wouldn't have a good chance of making it because he was quite serious. It felt like a leaden heart to go in, see his wife sitting there, and I didn't know what to say to the lady. Mrs. Brady? Mrs. Brady, your husband's been... I was trying to give Mrs. Brady hope, but I hoped I wasn't lying to her. He's still quite ill.
No? His uncle had been bitten by a snake years ago and he died. So I was very concerned. I was covered in dirt and blood and looked like he'd been through the battlefield.
Next time I go,
But he seemed to be on the mend, you know.
you'll be okay now. He's looking after you in good hands.
63-year-old Clyde Brady was hospitalized for 5 days, but amazingly, he survived the deadly snake bites. A year later, the memories are still vivid.
Sickness, there's no sickness like it. It's worse than the worst hangover that you could ever imagine from grog. But I feel really well now. I think I'm as good as what I was 15 years ago. Probably even better now that I don't have to go to work every day. See these blokes, eh?
Clive did suffer one unusual side effect from the taipan snake bites. The venom caused the hair on his leg to fall out.
It took about 6 months for the hair to grow again. And when the hair come blacker and thicker than ever it was. Some of my mates said, well, next time get him to bite you on the head and put a bit there too. That might be enough for you for one day, old fellow, eh? Everybody says, oh, they said God didn't want you this time, but I'm afraid I'm not a greatly religious bloke, you know. It was like the Bernie Joe and the nurses and the doctors and the sisters, well, they're the ones that help me. And is God such a great fellow, why did he let a bloody snake like that bite me? Or anybody else, for that matter, you know. That's the way I look at things.
The family sent me a bunch of flowers, which was really lovely. But I still don't think I did anything special. I just did what I was trained. And I just think he was born under a lucky star.
Do what you like to do, you know. That's what I reckon here.
Next. I really didn't think she was going to have the baby here. I really expected the cavalry to show up and that I was going to take a walk.
All right now, Get TV fans, don't be left in the dark. Get on over to our online TV schedule so you'll always know what's on next. That's www.get.tv. Now don't let me down now.
Doctors and nurses. I just wish everyone knew they're small.
Aaron Walker. Walker, Texas Ranger. Now every Sunday from 6 to 10 p.m. Eastern on Get TV.
On December 12th, 1992, the worst snowstorm in 100 years hit the East Coast. In East Hartford, Connecticut, Sarah Amanek and her husband Michael had gone to the hospital the night before when she experienced what the doctors thought was false labor and had been sent home.
Around 9:30, 10 o'clock, the contractions started up again.
Where's your dad?
Hey, what's going on?
I think the baby's overrun now.
All right, guys, sit down. At that point, we weren't sure if we were overreacting to the contractions, and quite frankly, looking out the window, we were unsure that we should try to venture out in the weather. The snow was coming down so hard I couldn't see the house across the street.
I'm not gonna make it.
I wasn't really scared because I just thought that she would drive to the hospital, but that's not how it worked out.
East Hartford emergency.
Yeah, my wife's in labor and we need an ambulance.
Okay, how many months has she been missing?
8 months, exactly.
Okay, and your name, sir?
Mike Yamanek, A-M-A-N-E-K.
Is this her first child?
No, third.
Third?
Yeah.
Is she bleeding or spotting?
Yes, she is.
East Hartford Police Dispatcher William McKelvey took the call.
Once the man on the phone told me that his wife was spotting, I knew something was going to happen soon. So I just stayed on the phone with him, coaching him, like, make sure you have a towel ready just in case.
Paramedic Bruce Lockwood was several miles from the scene.
You guys get chains on, it's gonna take us a while to get there.
Given the conditions, I hoped that we were going to make it to the hospital. 8 months pregnant, she's premature. It's going to happen whether we're there or not. But if it's a bad experience, we definitely don't want him in that position having to deliver the baby.
Unbelievable.
Is it a boy or girl, do you know?
No, we don't know.
Oh, you haven't had her.
Listen, we'll get you through it.
I really didn't think she was going to have the baby here. I really expected the cavalry to show up and that I was going to take a walk.
These are coming pretty quick. Okay, all right. Breathe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just breathe.
Once I heard her moaning in the background saying that she felt the need to push, I started getting worried.
Okay, Bobby, take you upstairs.
Tell her not to stop the Don't stop the pushing. If she feels that she has to. I don't want her to.
I had never had a complete birth on the phone, and this was going to be the first one.
She had a cesarean the first one.
Oh, gosh. She had a cesarean?
The childbirth card gives us a sequence during normal childbirth. But when the man told me that his wife had a cesarean, I was very worried because I didn't know what complications could happen.
Yeah, it is coming. Baby's definitely coming. Okay, so relax. There's like a bubble coming out.
Okay, do you have towels under her? Okay, when she has a contraction, I want you to place your hand against her vagina and apply firm but gentle pressure to keep the baby's head from coming out too fast and stirring her, okay? Just put your hand there. They're coming, they're on the way.
It was heavy snow, and the road conditions never really cleared up. We had trouble with traffic, and when we hit the side roads, it was like they hadn't even been plowed.
Anybody stay upstairs, okay?
I was concerned about Edie and Bobby, hearing their mother in pain, knowing that this could be a dangerous situation and that they were here to witness something horrible.
Look. Okay, I see the baby's head.
Okay, just keep your hand there, hon. Tell her it's almost coming. So you get her a new sofa for Christmas.
3, 4,
Good, okay. Just keep your hand in a little bit of pressure, very gentle.
Okay, it's coming out now.
Gentle. Okay, turn the head sideways.
Okay.
And clean the baby's mouth.
Okay.
And his nose with a piece of the towel, okay?
The baby's head was out, and almost in slow motion, it turned up to me, and one little hand came up alongside his face, and it was a real breathtaking experience.
I've got his head in his hand.
His hands out?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
All right, sweet, relax. Here comes the other shoulder.
Okay.
Boom. All right.
Shoulders are out.
All right, I'm gonna put the baby on her stomach.
Okay. Wrap him in a towel if you can.
I got a baby here.
As soon as the baby came out, there was an immense feeling of relief. I was amazed, totally amazed. I mean, here's Mike handing me this baby, and it was done. We did it. You know, there was no doctor, there was no ambulance. We did it.
I could hear Mom was moaning, and a couple minutes later I heard the baby crying, and Bobby was like, yippee!
This is wonderful. This is like 911. Okay, baby, breathe.
Okay, breathe in and cry.
Once I heard the baby crying, I started crying, knowing that you assisted in something that was so personal to them. And just this little life had depended on that line that was going through on the phone. It was great.
Have you arrived?
I don't even know if it's a boy or girl.
Can you look?
Well, I don't want to wrap it.
Okay. Can you get a string or anything?
For what?
You're going to tie that umbilical cord.
Then came the gruesome part for him. He was going to have to tie the baby's umbilical cord, which he never thought of.
How about a blue wave?
Great. I want you to tie the umbilical cord about 3 inches away from the baby.
All right.
Don't cut anything.
Oh, it's a boy.
Oh.
It's definitely a boy.
I got under there, and as I was tying the cord, I realized he was a boy. I thought. I wasn't sure. The emotion had taken over, and I wasn't sure it was a boy or a girl until I really had a good second look, and I knew we had a boy. I was really convinced this was a girl baby, so it was a double surprise.
Hey, open the door. You got a brother tape, I think. All right, didn't that get you just a little bit? Okay, you're cutting up now?
Yes, I'll ask you to like congratulations, Wilma.
All right, well, I'll see you later.
Oh, I hope so. Bye-bye.
As soon as I got out of work, I went and I bought the baby a present, and I told my husband, we have to go see her. We have to go see her and the baby.
Here's your new brother right here.
When I looked at him, I thought he was really cute, and I thought, he's my little brother, and I love him so much.
Sarah and baby John were taken to the hospital, examined, and released after 2 days.
What happened the day John was born was something that we will never...
Kevin Walker.
She was a friend.
It was very rewarding to have Johnny come into this world through 911 with me on the line. It made me want to have a baby, but I've collected my wit.
Really is a good boy.
Happened from it. I've never seen anyone in as bad a shape as he was that really pulled through and now is functional. That's an act of God, an act of youth, whatever you want to call it, but that's a miracle.
Today on Rescue 911, Forsaken Terror. Children at home alone take emergency measures to stop a thief. One call to 911 is all that stands between them. Then,
these animals don't have anybody else that can help them out.
A real-life drama of a medical team dedicated to saving animals.
There have been days that I have just broke down and cried.
On Rescue 911.
On the morning of June 6, 1986, 9-year-old Antonio Lopez and his 11-year-old sister Erica were at home alone, still half asleep. Their parents had just left for work. None of them expected any trouble in the hour before the children were due at school. Actors have helped us reenact the ordeal that followed.
Went to go see who it was. I thought it was my dad, who had always forgotten his coffee. It was somebody that I didn't know, so I didn't open the door. I was sort of half asleep and half awake, and so I was thinking it must be my dad. He forgot his coffee or something. Wake up. He came back to my room, and this time he sounded really scared. And so I guess I paid attention to him. We went into my mom's room and locked the door.
When we continue.
Hey.
Your home or business with speeds up to 3 times faster than DSL. Call 888-358-9481 and save up to $150.
School's in session with the Steve Harvey Show, weekdays at 7 on Get TV.
I was scared, really scared. I couldn't think fast at the moment, so I just thought of the things that my parents had told me.
911 operator Doreen Dawes got the call.
My brother was on the phone, and he was speaking louder, and I thought, the man's gonna hear him.
I was pretty worried for the kid, and I wanted to calm him down so that he could give us some good information on the suspect.
The first officer to respond was 20-year veteran Art Garcia.
I was worried about the child's safety at the beginning when I found out that I didn't know if the suspect was inside the house or not. That's when I was worried.
Dispatcher Paul Eaton took over the call to calm the boy and clarify the facts. Officer Fred Hardy heard the report of a burglary in progress with kids involved and rushed to the scene.
Since the child had reported that an intruder had gone inside the house, we weren't exactly sure what the suspect's intentions were.
scared of what are we gonna do? You know, the door is locked, but what if he tries to break it down? What do we do then?
Okay, one of the officers is outside now. He'll around the outside. It's in the back. He's in the back. Flags 34, you have any further on the front of the residence?
Our main goal at that point in time was to try and stay in a position where if the suspect exited the residence, he wouldn't be able to see us.
I parked to the blind side of the house. The boy had told us already where the suspect was, and that was on the other side of the house from where I parked, so I knew that I was out of view. When you have, in fact, a burglar seen and identified, you never know what kind of weapons he may have.
Put your hands on your head.
We came out with him, and we went outside of the backyard, and we went to go look at the man, and he told us to see if we knew who he was.
Tony was the primary instrument in assisting in apprehension of this suspect, only because he stayed in constant communication with us, were we able to catch the burglar.
When the man was in custody, I felt good. I was in it, and I felt pretty proud of my sister too, because she had me and her. It was sort of like teamwork. I felt great relief. I remember thinking just like, whew, you know, nothing happened.
This is one of the few incidents that happen every so many years that enables me just to continue being a policeman.
Mom, ¿qué te digo acá? Todas las recetas. Don't cut the flesh. Me sentía culpable.
I felt responsible because I felt like I neglected my children to a certain degree because I was at work working and this happened, and it just didn't seem like it could possibly ever happen in my household.
We've always been told 911, you know, from school to my parents. Dial 911. It's easier to remember than, you know, long phone numbers. Just 911.
Next. We don't have a siren in our trucks. We do have our lights, and we use the horn a lot and pray a lot that we get there.
Meet Elk.
Twenty-third, 1990. As a call for help sends ambulance driver Amy Knapp racing to the scene of the hit-and-run accident.
We don't have a siren in our trucks. We do have our lights, and we use the horn a lot and pray a lot that we get there.
She's supposed to be right around here. The woman called, she drove by and saw it.
I don't think there's much of a difference between us and a people ambulance. We're there to do the same thing, to try to save a life.
There we go. Let me get a carrier for her.
It was just swinging out there in the road when I drove up, and the lady and I pulled over.
Hi, honey. I know. It's too pale.
Yeah, it looks like somebody's pet. The guy that did it just kept going on.
Yeah, they do that all the time.
All right.
Hi, hon.
I got 4 cats of my own, so
Hey, thanks for sitting by her.
All right.
Once you have the animal on the truck, your blood starts pumping more.
Amy gets the cat to Angel Memorial within 8 minutes.
There's only so much that you can do, so the fastest thing to do is to get it into the hospital and let the doctors go from there. Hey, the DSC in the ready room?
Here at Angel, we can see anything from a guinea pig to a snake, a dog, a cat. We see everything.
The cat that had been hit by the car was treated, and her prognosis looks good.
You want to go to the desk on the left, on the right?
Suzanne Rodriguez and her roommate bring in her ailing cat, unsure of what is wrong with him.
We've been expecting you. Thank you.
Dr. Alicia Fagella is one of the veterinarians on call that afternoon.
Hi, Dr. Fagella. You got lost before the day. Oh, everybody always gets lost here, and they get a tour of Boston. What's this?
This is Spitz. He just let go.
He was a 6-year-old cat who was referred in with a history of not being himself and not eating for several days. Did they take any x-rays of Spitz at all? Okay, that's one of the things that we're going to need to do. It feels like there may be some fluid, free fluid in the abdomen. He was suffering from some type of probable liver disease because he was so yellow. He is a very, very sick cat. I can't tell you yet exactly what's going on, but it is very guarded prognosis right now.
X-rays are taken almost immediately.
You don't see any obvious masses in there.
Of his liver, and are you thinking about an ultrasound?
Yeah. Yeah, an ultrasound adds more to your bill. Unfortunately, we're at, a crossroads where either we try and treat or we don't want him to suffer.
An ultrasound is done to determine the severity of Spitz's liver disease.
I can't guarantee you that if you do decide to continue that you won't end up having to put him to sleep in a couple of days. Since you invested this much time and this much financial commitment, emotional commitment, I think it's certainly reasonable to at least give him the night and see how he does. Okay? Okay.
There are all kinds of considerations that you're hit with that you have to make decisions very quickly. And you want to do what's right, but
You get real attached. I've had him for 6 years, and he was like a kid. He has his own personality.
The next day, Dr. Fagella examines lab tests done on Spitz and calls Suzanne with an update.
Is this Suzanne? You want so much to help the animal, you want so much to help these people, and yet you're dealing with a serious disease, so you don't know, can you help this cat?
I'd like to save my cat, but I don't have the money to save my cat. I want to put my cat places because I can't pay.
I know, it's a very difficult decision.
Where's your money? What you do?
Michelle Moore and her in-laws bring in her puppy Shane, who had swallowed something, to Dr. Joyce Gilbert.
Okay, so why don't you tell me when this whole thing started?
They took him to the vet,
We got it ready for okay.
and then she called, said that he was passing something.
Okay.
And so we came down, and he had, like I said, the nylon about that long.
Dogs that are around a year old like to eat foreign bodies, and sometimes they pass and sometimes they don't. This is a real common problem with puppies. Really? They eat everything. They get into everything. We believe it before.
I had put the dog out into the yard, and he went to go move his bowels, and this is when the nylon was hanging out, and I was like, oh God, I knew something was wrong. I thought he was just gonna die, unless they did something quick.
Take Shane from me and get started. We're going to put a catheter in him and get fluids, and then we'll get our x-rays. By that time, you'll be home, and then we'll give you a call and let you know what we found. Okay? Here you go. Okay. Come on. You'll be fine. I know that dog's scaring you. I know that dog's scaring you.
You're dealing with one patient whose medical needs you have to address, but you're dealing with people who are emotionally distraught and who absolutely adore their animals. It's not a replaceable item, as sometimes people think that's art. It's a family member, and you have to really always be aware of that.
The puppy is immediately prepared for surgery.
Shane's problem can be life-threatening if it goes on long enough. The foreign body can cause peritonitis. If they don't have surgery immediately, and even with surgery, we can lose them because of the infection.
Shortly after checking up on Spitz, Dr. Fagella gets a call from his owner, Suzanne.
I know you do. I know. And I know it's very hard for you because there's nothing you could have done to prevent this disease from happening, and you give him every chance. So, okay. Some days it's very hard. There have been days that I have just broke down and cried. You know it's the best thing for the animal. I can tell that from a medical standpoint, but it doesn't make it easy. Alright. Okay, you're a good boy, weren't you, huh? You've been a very good boy. Yes. Living a very good life. All right. Boy, you just go to sleep. There you go. All right, Spitz. I was sad. I felt sad for her because she loved this cat so much. I felt sad for him too, for the cat. You know, he certainly had a very good life, and it's a horrible disease, but all of a sudden, we're at the end. Thanks, Tony.
In the operating room, Dr. Michelle Kudish performs the delicate surgery on Shane.
We see any number of animals that come in after eating rocks and corn cobs and things like tinsel at Christmas time. Yep, it's pantyhose, all right. Hopefully the owners will be a little bit more aware now of what they can and can't allow this puppy to play with.
The surgery itself went very, very well. Got the whole pantyhose out. No idea. It was all bunched up, and I had to cut it. It was not. I don't think it was a full pantyhose. How was your day today?
For Suzanne Rodriguez, her roommate Gail Mahoney, and Gail's cat Cooper Black, adjusting to life without Spitz hasn't been easy.
He's been meowing a lot lately.
It's only been 2 days, but I can still feel him around the house. I couldn't go any further with treatment because they couldn't guarantee that my cat would ever get better, and I just really couldn't afford to spend thousands of dollars. And I really didn't want it to come down to that kind of situation, but I knew I had to do it this way. I knew I had to.
Special love and care. This story is not a recreation.
I was just eating my dinner, having pizza on a Saturday night.
He's a really good dog.
Proud of my dog.
I know.
That hospital, I swear by it. God forbid anything ever happens again. I wouldn't even think twice to take them there. They were wonderful. Wonderful.
hug.
Excuse me.
Today on Rescue 911. Extreme risk. A raging fire in an apartment full of children.
What are we going to do?
Forces a grandmother to take desperate, life-saving action.
They have to get something.
A risk that could cost her her own life. Then, teens looking for a cheap high
I showed him what it was.
could end up finding certain death.
I really know what's happening at all.
I was scared. I knew we were in deep trouble.
On Rescue 911.
In an emergency, difficult decisions sometimes must be made in an instant. Good Samaritans who keep calm and act quick can mean the difference between life and death. All the people you'll meet in this story return to help us reenact it just as it happened on February 9th of this year. Within sight of the Capitol, in the southeast district of Washington, charred and boarded up buildings show visible scars of past tragedies. Last February 9th, at Parkland's apartments, yet another fire broke out. Starting in a mattress on the second floor of the back, it quickly got out of control. As the fire spread toward the front of the building, the only stairwell began to fill with smoke and flames.
Daryl Marshall and I had just arrived back at the maintenance shop when we noticed smoke coming from 3401 Stanton Road.
So Mitch and myself ran down the sidewalk.
The maintenance workers headed for the stairway to try to warn any residents still trapped in the building.
We knew that if anybody was in there, they would either get smoke inhalation or be burned very severely.
When we continued,
When I saw the smoke around the door, that's when I knew I had to get something in.
If you can't pick your family, you might as well laugh.
And it's almost like someone had something over your face, smothering you in this.
Excuse me.
All at no additional cost. You have Medicare, you have Medicaid. You may be eligible for Dual Complete. So call the number on your screen now to see if you're eligible. Or to enroll in a Dual Complete plan from United Healthcare.
Join the bunkers for some family time. All in the Family, weeknights at 8 p.m. Eastern.
on the floor above the fire, in Mrs. Gross's apartment, 8 babies were sleeping. Great-grandmother Lillian Gross looks after babies from the neighborhood while their parents are at work. Before she even realized there was a fire in the building, Lillian and the 8 babies were trapped in her apartment.
I didn't know, have any idea what was happening out here.
As we approached the second floor landing, we found that we couldn't go up the stairs. There was so much smoke and flame, and it's almost like someone had something over your face, smothering you, and the smoke was just that thick.
I opened the door, and it was black up there, so I just slammed the door. And that's when the smoke alarm went off.
With the only means of escape blocked by dense smoke, Lillian quickly gathered the children together in the bedroom near the front window. fire dispatcher sent out the call.
I said, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna get these kids out of here?
Help me, somebody. I got babies up here. I can't do them now.
The maintenance man of Harlem, they all know me. He said, throw the kids out on there, throw them down. We'll catch them, we'll catch them. I didn't think they would. When I saw the smoke around the door, I knew I had to drop the gun.
Parkland's employee, Gwen Johnson, comforted the baby, who was unharmed by her 30-foot fall.
I don't remember anything. I don't know who went first or who went last or how they went.
It crossed my mind that the children may not have been caught, but I would have much rather those children to have had a scratch, a broken arm, than to have burns or not be here.
Most of the people who die in fires never see the flames. They're killed by the toxic smoke and gases the fires give off. Infants and small children are particularly vulnerable.
Nia held on to the window. She didn't want to let go, so I had to pull her hand away to drop her out. But she was holding on. She didn't want to go out.
I didn't know I was going to catch it, but I was praying I would. I mean, I didn't want to drop the baby. I was just so glad. When I caught the baby, I just grabbed it and just held it tight. And I passed the baby back. But the other sight, you see them babies coming out their window.
When the police arrived, the babies were moved into the patrol cars to get them out of the freezing weather. Last to go was 9-month-old Vaughn Tyler.
Come on, we want come on.
It was just so much emotion from everybody that gathered. It was like an arm of blankets. It's no way those kids could have hit the ground. No way.
And I forgot to howl for help myself.
More than 700 preschool-aged children in America will die this year in fires. But on this day, not one baby had been hurt.
Hey, come on out.
I don't feel like a hero. I'm glad that the babies are all safe. I'm glad we all got out. I think the heroes in this story were the maintenance crew, because they're the ones that caught the babies.
I think the community reacted in a collective effort. No one was harmed, and I think we've learned a good lesson that very often people who react do it the right way.
Had those babies not gotten out, Ms. Gross not dropped them down to us, the mothers could have said, we had our babies just in our hand this morning. Tonight they're gone.
Could have been a different story. We could all been dead. Then I just look at him and smile. Thank God.
Next,
I couldn't believe it was happening at all. I thought my friend was dying.
I can walk.
Eighth, 1990, in Kaysville, Utah, a group of 4 friends left Davis High School, including sophomore Jennifer Dennis.
We were goofing around, and in the car we just got on a conversation about how kids got high and stuff.
One of Jennifer's girlfriends was also along that day.
The subject of butane was brought up because our friend told us about doing it and we wanted to try it.
The only thing we knew about it is that it could give you a high for 10 minutes or 20 minutes or however long.
Me and Greg went in the store and I showed him what it was because he didn't even know what it was.
Got it. Greg had an idea that the Scotch Guard could get you high too. I don't know if he'd done it before or if he'd seen it done.
Me and Greg inhaled it all the way to the school. And Greg did a lot more than I did. It just made you laugh. And just everything spun around.
Come on, Greg. Come on.
It just seems like no big deal. When I walked in, Greg fell. It just seemed like he was joking around, you know?
I just said, get up, you know, you're making a fool out of yourself.
Greg. Greg?
I heard a couple girls come running down the hall.
Athletic Director Roger Burley went to see what the problem was.
As we came upon Greg, he was turning blue.
What is it? Oh, I don't know. Turn him over. Come on, let's try it.
He wasn't breathing. There was no heartbeat.
You go for help.
I just started bawling. I was scared for Greg. And I was scared that the same thing was going to happen to me.
A call was placed to 911. Kaysville fire volunteers and police officers, along with sheriff's paramedics, were dispatched to the scene.
Excuse me.
Vice Principal Clyde Jackson arrived within minutes of Greg's collapse.
I tried to find a pulse, and it was just, there was absolutely nothing there. I was scared.
Brett Larkin was one of the first EMTs on the scene.
Can't get an airway.
We could tell from his coloring that he was in very critical condition. He's probably full arrest.
Can anybody tell me what he took? What happened?
We were trying to find out what had happened, and then started getting pieces that he had apparently had sniffed Scotch Guard and some butane. I had known Greg for a couple of years, and that was a real shock to me and surprised me.
6 minutes after Greg's heart stopped beating, Davis County Sheriff's paramedics, including Scott Larson, arrived on the scene.
Looking at Greg, he looked like the all-American type kid.
What do you got, Randy? I got beat fib. Okay.
It scared me to see such a young person in this type of situation.
Here we go. There. Where? Second pulse or such. Next pulse. Still no pulse. Still showing beat fib on the monitor. One more. Let's go. 360.
But there was no reaction from him after the initial shock.
Okay, let's go ahead with the horn.
I couldn't believe it.
Okay.
I couldn't believe it was happening at all.
Okay, got it. Everybody clear?
I thought my friend was dying.
Hold it. No pulses.
We've got the idea established.
I defibrillated him 3 times back to back. It wasn't working.
Come on, hustle, hustle.
Okay. Nobody wants to fail at this, and we fail so many times.
Okay, so got defib. Clear? Clear? Okay, go, go, go.
I'd give anything if I could go back to being 16 years old again. I just remember being real angry that this kid had wasted his life and wasted what he had going for him.
Okay, come on, let's get some nothing after him.
Scott, I think this kid.
Randy said, "It's not looking good, Scott." And I says, "We're not going to lose him. This kid is not going to die on me."
Hyperventilating, Randy. In charge of 360. Clear?
Clear. Check pulse. Hey, I think I got some.
Finally, we started getting a heartbeat. I really felt like this kid's got a chance now.
16-year-old Greg Willis was taken to the Humana Hospital emergency room, where Dr. Clyde Fawcett was on call.
I rubbed on his chest, and he brought his hands up. That implies that there's brain damage going on.
Let's get the CAT scanner going.
I thought, why the devil would anyone be inhaling Scotchgard and butane? These chemicals displace oxygen in the bloodstream. That's what causes the high. No oxygen gets up to the brain. As the pictures came up, I knew we were in deep trouble. There was so much swelling going on in the brain, and we started having problems trying to get oxygen into his blood due to lung damage. My hopes were going down by the minute. This was Willis?
Yes. Vern and Kathy Willis were waiting for word on their son's condition.
Let me tell you where we are with Greg right now. I explained the situation and says, I have to ask you a very serious question, and that is, if Greg dies, would you allow someone else to benefit by making Greg an organ donor?
I'm gonna get in there.
I just can't believe what he was telling us, because he just couldn't give us no hope at all.
Lifeline down to the university.
What was so hard about this is that we never had problems with Greg. He'd been a good son. Of the 3 kids, he was probably the easiest one to raise.
Greg was transported by life flight to University Hospital in a deep coma. His chances for survival were slim.
Greg, this is Mom speaking. You've got to start waking up, hon. They were saying, you know, if you came out of it, you might be a vegetable. And I just said, well, I want him back any way, shape, or form. I'll take him. Wake up, baby. We just kind of took turns staying with Greg and talking to him. And at one point, he did open his eyes, and he started to cry. And then he went back to sleep.
We're all here with you. We're not going to let you go. It was just a very empty feeling. We'll be here in a few hours. I didn't know what to say to him. Grandma and Grandpa, they're all out in the waiting room. I just held his hands. Told him that I love him.
Amazingly, within a few days, Greg's lungs began to heal. But it was 17 days before he began to come out of his coma, and the extent of his permanent brain damage was yet to be determined.
Did everything go okay?
He couldn't roll over. He couldn't sit up. He couldn't feed himself.
Hear him? Okay, here, Greg. Say a word was really tremendously hard for him.
Dad? I thought, well, these people are really good here. They can really fix him up quick. I still didn't realize how long it was going to take.
Okay, here we come. I went to all his therapy with him and just pressed him. Don't give up. Keep going.
Good job. He was very frustrated, but he hung through it. But you're walking a lot better than you were before. A lot better. Yeah.
2 years have passed. Greg Willis has graduated from high school and is 85% back to normal. but he may never fully recover from his injuries.
Yeah, I can't play basketball like I used to play, and I'll be in therapy probably for my whole life, but I'm not really taking it hard right now. I just say, geez, at least I'm this far, and maybe I can go farther. 2 years ago, I was involved in an accident that almost cost me my life, and I sniffed butane and Scotchgard.
In an effort to prevent others from making 8th, 1990 in Kaysville, Utah,
Happened from it.
I've never seen anyone in as bad a shape as he was that really pulled through and now is functional. That's an act of God, an act of youth, whatever you want to call it, but that's a miracle.
Okay, not only is this going to be Rescue 911 conrail train, but this is a cord cutting app that can be like a Netflix replacement. It's called Zinni Tevi. And what you do to get Zinni Tevi on your Amazon Fire Stick is you go to Downloader. Well, come on. For some reason, Downloader isn't loading up. Let's see. Okay. Now... you go to http:// and you type in Zen Tev fee. Dot online See, now what's going to happen is it's going to go to the website, and it's like it's an app for, movie lovers. it has like movies and TV shows. It's 720p and 1080p, and it's free. And like here you download it on Android, iOS, and other devices. You know, you can get it on your. It's free. It includes ads. You know, and here's screenshots of it. And there's like Zintevi for Android, iOS. But basically, since, you know, if you're on a Fire Stick, you gotta go all the way down to see where they have the star. And it's like 11.8 MBs. And you see, it says download APK. And that's exactly what you would press to download it on your Fire Stick. You see how it's downloading right now? But I'm not going to click on install. I mean, because I already have it. But you would click on install, and that's how you get it on your Fire Stick. And I'm going to like go to the app now. I know it's a little messed up at first, but see, now. See, it has a nice feature where you can save favorites. And they divide it into movies and TV shows. Like, And the Band Played On, The Normal Heart, War and Beatty, Rocket Man, A Dog's Way Home, Lion King, Regarding Henry, Yesterday, A Dog's Purpose, The Art of Racing in the Rain, Super Buddies, Extremely Wicked, the Ted Bundy movie. And then I also have like TV shows bookmarked, like Food Paradise, Reba, Baby Daddy, Ted Bundy tapes. Okay, I'll go back to movies. And I'm gonna, you know, put one on that will be allowed on YouTube so I won't get a copy strike. See how, you know, this star is highlighted because I added it to my favorites. Well, if it wasn't added to my favorites, then I could just click on this star. And like, if like, let's say you go to cast, and you want to see like other movies that the people that are in this movie have made, like you go to Lily Collins, you know, then you find, oh, she's in Mirror, Mirror, you know. She's also in Rules Don't Apply, you know. So, like, I'm going to bookmark Rules Don't Apply. Because Annette Bening is in that movie, too. Oh, you can click on Ed Harris and, you know, see the movies he's in. And bookmark it. Let's see. Well, he's been in a lot of movies. See, I can like bookmark Milk Money. See, you do it just like that. Click on the star with your Fire Stick remote, and it's bookmarked, added to your favorites. The Face of Love, Ed Harris and Annette Bening in that movie. I'll bookmark that to my favorites. It's a drama and it's a romance. Sometimes you can click on similar, like such as Driving Miss Daisy. You can find Ed Harris was also in Stepmom. So now, if I go to cast, instead of going to edit, instead of going to Lily Collins, I can go to Zac Efron, and now I'll see other movies that he's in, like High School Musical, High School Musical 3, High School Musical 2, The Lucky One, Charlie St. Cloud, 17 Again, Baywatch, Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, The Greatest Showman, now I'm going to show you how a movie actually plays on here, because Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile is already on YouTube, so it won't get a copyright strike. It's a thriller, crime, drama. That's the genres that it is. Oh, here if you click on the S, it will show you the stream. Oh, that's subtitles. Let's see. Next over. See, S, streams. See, it's still loading up, so you got to give it a little while to do that, And then, you can select the stream you want, because there might be more than one available. I think it's still looking for other streams. Let's see. I'm trying to highlight the one I want. Okay, I'll do the 360 one. The UNK 360. See, it does load up. You just got to give it time. And some movies do not play at all. Now, I'm not going to put the whole movie on here today. Few people have the imagination for reality. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. So the movie starts with a quote. Netflix presents Zac Efron plays Ted Bundy in this movie. So Zac Efron plays a serial killer. Well, I don't know why it exited me out. Oh, and if you click on I, it will give you info. Chronicle of the crimes of Ted Bundy from the perspective of his longtime girlfriend, Elizabeth Klopfer, who refused to believe the truth about him for years. The release date was 5/2/2019. Actually, it was in select theaters, but it wasn't playing nationwide. So if you didn't see it in the movie theater, you could see it on Netflix. And here, if you click on genres crime, you can see like a bunch of other crime movies that are listed on here. Ooh, The Green Mile, that's a good one. I love this one. I'm gonna bookmark it. See, I can go to cast, and Tom Hanks is in it. So then you see other movies that Tom Hanks is in, such as Sleepless in Seattle. Now I'm going to go up to favorites. Let's see, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 23, 24, 25 movies saved. I think I'll save one more movie today. Big. I'm gonna say Big. This is a 1980s movie. There. Now I'm gonna exit out of this app. Okay, go to Commando TV. I'm gonna see if it's 8 o'clock yet, or after 8. Last time I looked, it was 7:52. So, okay, I'm about to end the live stream. For more full Rescue 911 videos for TV show apps, movie apps, cord cutting options, for full episodes of Flippers, seeing grocery haul videos, hit the big red button and subscribe. Peace out, YouTube. So when I end the stream, I just click on Finish Event. Peace. Peace out, YouTube. So when I end the stream, I just click on finish event. Peace out, YouTube. So when I end the stream. Okay. Now the stream is over. Peace out, YouTube. Or it's gonna be over as soon as I click on finish event.